Well, hey there, my friends. Thank you for joining me on my channel today. I'm Laura Daniels, and this is Ink and Whimsy. It's where we have fun documenting our stories, telling our stories in journaling format, scrapbooking, project life, and also in our planners. So I thank you for sharing a little bit of your time with me. This is the month of February in my Stories by the Month 9x12 album, and I've used the kit by Allie Edwards. I get it once a month in the mail. I am going to put together March in this video, so we're together going to see how it all comes together. I want to move this album and show you what comes in the kit. It always comes in a different type envelope, so if you were creative, you could find a way to use these. There are some staple cards that come in each kit, which is good. Now you have these 4x6, so you have the March, and then the March looks like this, so I'll be adding many photos there. So you have your 4x6 cards. It was one of those March days when the sun shines hot and the wind blows cold, when it is summer in the light and winter in the shade. Charles Dickens. Oh, I love that. I love that too for writing on. And then you have your vellum 4x6s. The Irish way of telling a story is a complex and elaborate one, complete with wild exaggerations, a certain delight in impossible fantasy, improbable, and a heightened sense of drama. I love that one too. These are good quotes. I have no idea what those are. I do love both of these right here, and I'm thinking cut this in half, cut out these, what you call those, oblong shapes. And then you have your smaller cards. These might be 3x4s. And this is a card that I use in each one of my layouts. And then you move back and you have your vellum 3x4s. March looks like that. Love that. You could do some tip-ins with these. This is cool looking. So lots of neat. And then you have your ephemera. I love these circles right here. I love how there are different shapes and sizes. And then these are your chipboard pieces, which will look really great with some twine. I don't do March until the first couple of weeks in April. So at the end of March, I go through all the photos on my phone and I clean them out. I get rid of the photos that are blurry, that are choppy, that I just don't like the way they come out, or ones that really aren't telling the story I had wanted them to tell, or a story that's not really that important to me. And then I will go through and I will use an app on my phone and I will create these different either, what is this, 2x2s on a 4x6. I'll print up some 4x6. And whatever I don't use in this 9x12, I will use them in scrapbooking, so it all gets saved. And here's something else I do. I will take a screenshot of a Facebook post because it already has the journaling and it has the photos. So I have several of these that I can work with. Now this one right here, what I wanted to write in my Facebook post, I took a screenshot of that story and then I did a screenshot of the photo post. And that way I'll just have them next to each other like that. So you can see I have several. Here's another fun story. So I have 2 photos. So I have a lot to be able to work with here. I love to do a screenshot of the newspaper. We are celebrating Easter, our kitty cat Simba. So lots of fun things that I want to work with to see how I can all pull it together. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to put my 9x12 album right here, and I'm going to lay in the photos that really tell the story that I want to in March. I'll show you how that looks. I'll go through that. Then we'll pause the camera again, and I'll do my embellishing. All right, so I'll be right back. So here is the layout with all the photos in. This is my granddaughter, Diana Rose, and I had an 8x10 photo printed and I put it on some white cardstock. There's still more I want to do with this. I want to put the month of March up there, but we had all met at the park, had a picnic and played. And then here are the two 4x6s with the 6 square photos in each. I want to embellish this. Usually I group all my photos together and I go, okay, let's see how I can work these together on one page. So here, this is our cat Simba, and there was a funny story. I sent this picture to my granddaughter that I was talking to Simba about coming to visit her. And so I wanted the 3 of those together, and then the March look like this. It's of our granddaughter making lasagna with our son. So the colors all went together, so I had them on this page. It didn't necessarily all happen on this day. For me, the month is just having all the pictures in the month present in the album. They don't have to be in order. My husband and I both celebrated our birthdays, turned 62, so we had some fun stories there to tell. The American Pickers came to our small town, so I took that screenshot off of the newspaper. My mom sent a fun text, so the colors kind of went together. So I want those right there. And then over here, we had a get together with our friends. And as I said before, I just typed this up on my phone and saved it as like a photo so I could print it up with my other photos. And then here's what I had posted on Facebook, and there's a large 4x6. So this tells one story. This is just one of those abstract stories. Just like this right here doesn't really go with the birthday theme or this. But at some point, you're always going to see at least 3 photos that will tell a story. And then I can stick something else in there. And then as we get here, I definitely wanted to earmark Easter. And as I'm thinking about it, I should have the Easter as the last page and move these over here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to add all of the cards and the embellishments. So be sure to stick around so you can see how it all comes together. Well, hey there, my friends. Here we are. I have it embellished as much as I want to at this point. I don't know about you, but I like to step back, kind of leave it spread out on the desk like this. And, you know, I'll walk by it. I may add a little embellishment here, a little bit there. That's why at the end of the month, when I do the flip throughs, you'll see some new changes to this right here. Now, I haven't added any of my scripted journaling, but I do have all the photos with the embellishments in it now, and that's what I want to go over with you. I do want to start adding a large photo. So as I said, this is my granddaughter Diana Rose, and we are at the park, and there's a river that goes along one side of the park, and she said, "Grandma, can we walk along the river?" I said, "Sure, but you got to hold my hand." And we must have been walking for about a minute, and she looked up to me and she goes, "Grandma," she goes, "this is called the best friends walk." And I said, "Well, what does that mean, Diana Rose?" She goes, "Well, that means you hold your best friend's hand and you take a walk." Well, this grandma's heart melted. So I had to make sure I got a picture of her so that I could remember that moment. I mean, that's what it's all about. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, this is that 4x6 vellum quote card. And I thought, well, how can I get that with these photos? So I just cut it in strips. And then these tell the rest of the story of the day we shared together. So I thought it was kind of neat, the Irish way of telling a story, and I'm telling this story of that day. Now, here are the March cards. Remember I told you there are a few cards that I use every month. I love having it all together. So here's the story of our cat. It has the oranges in it, so that's why I decided to tell the story of Diana Rose making lasagna with her daddy. So here, March looks like this, and I just think it looked really cohesive together, and I used this vellum card that had a little bit of this, you wouldn't call it orange, it's kind of like a rust orange maybe, soft tangerine. And here's our birthday. I need to fill in the journaling here. And these tell about our birthday. This is a text my mom sent, staying in touch with me, my brother and sister. And this is when the American Pickers came to town. I didn't add many embellishments to this because it's very busy with all the photos, and to me it's more important to tell the story. I'd love to be able to say I've used up all my embellishments, but that doesn't happen. Here I'll write some stories. I wanted to leave, this was that 4x6 piece of vellum. I cut it in half so that I could draw the two colors together here. And you know, it has this like sage green going. Now, I did not plan it that way when I took these photos, but sometimes it just all flows together, doesn't it? And so here is the story down here in this corner. So you have a story, and then you just have individual stories. Oh, I almost forgot. I had some photos that I wanted to include, but they didn't necessarily go with any of the other stories. This is my daughter. She went on a trip to Arizona, and the colors are just such a bright, vivid blue that they really didn't go with this scrapbook page, and I was running out of room. So I just used a piece of the vellum here, and I attached it so that I could add the photos, and then I added a tab at the top so that it could be pulled out. And it just sticks right behind this card. Here we go. All right. And then we flip it over. Now this is something else that I did was a little different. Here you usually have the one 4x6 slot here, three 3x4s, a 4x6 and 3x4, but I didn't want them laid out that way. So this is a 4x6 card. I literally just adhered it to the top of the pockets. And I made this my double pocket. This is the story about the bees with my husband and I. I literally left him in the dust when the bees started buzzing. All I could hear was him running up behind me, swatting and yelling. And I am telling you, I went 60 miles per hour faster when I heard him coming up behind me and running. It is such a funny story. Wanted to make sure I included that one. And then I had a little bit of the news. This was just such a sad story about the bridge that collapsed. And here we're moving into the last day of March, and I wanted to make it all about Easter. I had it over here, and I realized I needed to switch it. But I also added some documenting in back of this photo. And this, again, it's a story I wanted to make sure I remembered, but I really didn't have a place for it. So I may do some documenting here on the top. I used a piece of ephemera as my tab so I could pull it in and out. And then the story is how my mom accidentally threw her cell phone into the chimenea fire because it was all rolled up in the extra newspaper that she was going to use to start the fire. And she did it that way so she could carry it outside. But she forgot that it was in there, and she literally threw it into the fire pit, and she didn't realize it was not around until about 10 minutes later. And by then it was just all burned, so she couldn't get it out. It was very hot. So this was about a couple of weeks later when she was cleaning out the chimney because she was going to set another fire. I go, Mom, did you find your phone? So she did, and she took a photo. So funny stories, the stories of our lives. That's how it all comes together. So when you see the end of the month flip through, you'll see how I've made some changes. Let me know in the comments below if you've enjoyed hearing how I put this together, just seeing how someone else, what their process is, and if this is something you'd like to see on a monthly basis. If it is, I'll keep doing it. If not, I will just do it in private and have fun. But I love it when we can meet together like this in YouTube land, spend some time together and sharing ideas, because I love trying to gather my wits by paying attention to how other people put their projects together. So until we meet again, my friends, God bless. Have an incredible day and happy April. Bye-bye.